Hello everybody and welcome back to the Simple Joy Show. Today we're going to be diving into a practical and straightforward decluttering method called the 4-box method. So whether you're just starting out on your decluttering journey or you're looking for a new strategy, this episode's going to shed some light on how this method can help you streamline the process. This is the Simple Joy Show, the podcast for people who are ready to declutter and simplify their homes and lives to create more space, time, energy and freedom. I am your host, Hayley Forster, mother, wife and declutter coach, and I'm going to be sharing with you simple bite-sized nuggets to help you on your journey to living a simpler life through the power of decluttering. So if you're ready to choose calm over chaos, then let's dive into today's show. Hello everyone, how are you all? Hope you are good. Only a week or so to go to Christmas now. My girls finish next Friday for Christmas, the 22nd. It's quite close to Christmas. Usually I like them to have a little bit more time off before Christmas, where we spend our time baking and watching Christmas films. So it's quite close this year. I think last year they finished on like the 18th or something. So that gives nearly a week to enjoy before Christmas Day. So yeah, we've got another week or so of them at school, but we're in the festive mood. We're ready. We've got all our presents pretty much. I've got a couple more things to buy tonight. But other than that, we are ready to go and really looking forward to it. I hope you are too. You're feeling super organised and calm about it. If you're not, make sure to check out my freebie, which is how to unwrap your Christmas vision. And that's a good starting point for helping you work out how to have a simpler, more calmer Christmas. I'll put the link in the show notes for that. But anyhow, let's get on to today's topic, which is the 4-box method of decluttering. So this method is a really flexible way for you to deal with all the items that you're decluttering in your house. So you break down the process into 4 clear categories, and those are keep, donate, throw away, and the maybe box. So what you do is you take 4 boxes or bins and label them with those categories. And as you go through the items, you're deciding which box they belong to. You then put it into one of those 4 boxes and then process each box according to the name. So as always, there are pros and cons to this particular method, and I'm just going to cover the pros first of all. This method is really simple. It doesn't really require any complex rules or extensive planning. You just literally need 4 containers and you can get started. So it's really good for those of you who are starting out on your decluttering journey. It's very straightforward and there's a category for everything, because even if you get stuck on an item, you can pop them into the maybe box and you can reconsider them at some future date. So it really allows you to be flexible and for you to declutter at your own pace without rushing you. Another positive to this one is that it really forces you to make immediate decisions about each item, and that can really help speed up the decluttering process. What you can do as well is that you can remove one of the boxes, which is the maybe box. Some people are very much behind that. I'm kind of in between. Depending on the client, I may suggest a maybe box, and for some I might suggest not to have a maybe box. I think it can be useful for those of you who are just starting out, but if you're really trying to be ruthless, having a maybe box can be quite risky, because you run the risk of just putting everything in a maybe box and not making any decisions at all. So if you remove the choice of a maybe box, it really forces you to make a decision whether it stays or whether it goes, and you then prevent the build-up of maybe piles. I would recommend, if you're starting out, maybe try a maybe box, see how you go. If you find that you're really leaning on it and you've got a bigger maybe box than anything else, maybe it's not the best option for you, because you're going to use that as a crutch and it's going to be helping you not to make a decision. Whereas if you're quite good at making decisions, you don't feel as though you need it, it's probably a good idea to just perhaps go with 3 boxes, or you could even have a box that is called relocate, and those items are the items that still belong in your home but need to go to different rooms. Usually I just keep those in the keep box and distribute them after the decluttering process itself. But if you want to stay at 4 boxes, then you could have it as keep, donate, throw away and relocate rather than having the maybe box. This method is really versatile as well, so you can apply it to any room, any space, any items. Whether you're sorting through your wardrobe, your garage, or an office drawer, it will work. And the thing that I like most about this method is that each category has got a really clear next step. So keep items, so the ones that you want to stay in your home, they're organised back into your space. So they either go back in the room that you're located in at that moment, or they can be relocated to more appropriate locations around the house, depending on how you've got it organised and how you've got it set up. The donate items go to a charity shop or to a local community centre. The throwaway, it's disposed of. I usually like to have 2 sections to the throwaway box, and that is recycle and landfill. I try as much as possible to put the majority of it in the recycle section. And with the maybe pile, what you can do is that you can then pop that box somewhere where it's not going to be interfering with your daily activities, perhaps in a cupboard, and then you can set a reminder on your phone and say, in 1 month's time, I'm going to come and look back at this box, and I'm going to decide then if it's keep or whether it's throw away. And you can pretty much say that if you've not touched it within a month, 6 weeks, perhaps you're not actually that bothered about it and you can get rid of the item. Or perhaps you even forgot that the item was in the box, which again is another sign that you can get rid of that item. So that's a way how you can get the maybe box to work for you. There's no point in you having a maybe box and it goes in the cupboard and you don't see it for another couple of years, because you're not processing your clutter at that point. You're just delaying the decision. Then as for the cons, obviously I think we've kind of touched on it already, is that maybe box can be a problem if you've got too many things in there. As I say, it's best to avoid using that box as much as possible and put things in there that you're really, really unsure about, and try not to use it as a crutch for just delaying those decisions that you don't really want to make. Because decluttering can be quite emotional, making immediate decisions on things can be quite tasking. It can be emotionally challenging, especially for items that have got sentimental value. So if you're early on in your decluttering journey, then a maybe box might be a good idea to help you process those emotions. But if you feel as though you can do without it, then that's one of the cons eliminated already. This method can be quite overwhelming if you've got large volumes of clutter, because if you're seeing large amounts of items in each category, it can be quite daunting to then think that you've got to process all of those. So what I would suggest is that if you do have a lot of clutter, is just break the area down more. So don't say, right, I'm going to go and do the kitchen today. Say, right, I'm going to do 2 shelves of my pantry today and focus on that and process it at a much smaller volume. And another con to think about is that often you might need to go through the process several times to make significant progress, again depending on how much clutter you've got. So if you've got areas of accumulated clutter, you may have to do a number of rounds, which can be quite tiring. But as I say, if you break those bigger areas down into smaller chunks, make it more manageable, build up that decluttering muscle, then that con can really work in a positive way for you. So in summary, this method is ideal for those of you who prefer really straightforward, no-nonsense approaches to decluttering. If you need a really clear system to follow, it's perfect for those of you who are short on time and you need to make quick decisions. I personally really like this method. This is one of the methods that I use the most with my clients because it is so specific. There's clear categories and there's clear actions for you to take once you've done the decluttering, you've done the decision making. There's very specific actions to take, and I feel as though this is a really powerful tool in your decluttering arsenal. It's about dividing and conquering and really making that process less intimidating and more actionable. Because for me, all of the cons can be easily rectified. The emotional side of it is that you can pop in there the maybe box to help you build up to decluttering those that you're really not sure about. So you've got that as a fallback. The other cons are really associated to volume. If you've got a lot of clutter, it can be quite overwhelming and it can involve multiple rounds of decluttering. But for me, that all comes down to breaking it down into smaller chunks, which I recommend to everyone anyway. So I think this is a really effective method of decluttering, and it's probably one of my favourites. So let me know if you've tried the 4-box method. How did it work for you? Did you come up with any problems with it? Is it a method that you would recommend? Please share your experiences and your tips, and you can come into my Facebook group, The Simple Living Society, to share your thoughts. But I just want to say thanks for tuning in, and remember, no matter the method, the journey of decluttering is all about creating more space for joy and simplicity in your life. Take care. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the Simple Joy Show further, then please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram at HelloSimpleJoy. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.